this lesson, we return to the third of the four basic types of meditation techniques, contemplation. For practices of this type, you don't have to restrain your thoughts, as in the first category, or observe the activities of your mind, as in the second. Instead, specific kinds of reflection are used to address important spiritual and emotional issues. One of those issues is the apparent discrepancy or gap between knowledge and experience. A good example of that gap is an observation made by many Vedanta students who say, "I know that I'm not my body or mind. I know that my true nature is pure consciousness, Satchidananda, but I don't experience myself as Satchidananda. I still experience myself as an individual person with a body and mind that are subject to all kinds of problems." Those students seem to have gained knowledge of Atma, the true self, yet in terms of experience, they remain completely unchanged. The reason for this problem, the gap between knowledge and experience, is the surprising fact that experience often misleads us. Every day you get deceived by common experiences that seem to contradict what you know to be true. For example, the sky looks blue, yet you know air is colorless. Objects seem solid, yet you know that they're composed of atoms, and atoms are more than 99.999% empty space. When you sit down, you feel motionless, yet you're sitting on a planet that's known to speed around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. In each case, there seems to be some kind of gap or discrepancy between knowledge and experience. My favorite example is watching the sun slowly sink below the horizon in the evening. That experience is surprisingly deceptive. As you know, the sun doesn't travel around the earth. It's the earth that moves, and it rotates on its axis. When you look west, that rotation causes the horizon to move upwards towards the stationary sun. Even when you understand this completely, the sun still seems to move down towards the horizon. This example shows how easy it is to be fooled or misled by your experiences. And just like you can be deceived by the sunset, you can also be deceived by the experience of your own body and mind. But in each of these cases, you can avoid being deceived if you learn how to correctly interpret your experiences. For example, you can learn how it's an optical illusion that makes the sun look like it's going down. Generally, huge things like buildings are stationary, whereas smaller things like people and cars can move. Since the horizon looks really huge compared to the sun, your brain tricks you into thinking the sun is moving, not the horizon. In the same way, you can learn how to correctly interpret the experience of your own body and mind. You can learn how false identification with your body and mind gives rise to suffering. You can learn how your true nature as pure consciousness remains utterly unaffected, regardless of what happens in your body and mind. The teachings of Vedanta can help you understand all this. From childhood onwards, you've watched the sun go down in the evening. Even when you clearly understand that the horizon actually moves upwards, the sunset still looks the same to you. You'll still think and say the sun is going down, even though you know better. This shows the power of habitual thinking. Your thinking has been deeply conditioned by misinterpreting your experience of the sunset for many years. In the same way, from childhood onwards, you embraced the false notion that you are nothing but your body and mind. As a result, even after you discover your true nature to be pure consciousness, Atma, you're likely to have habitual false identification with your body and mind. You can easily see this false identification in your day-to-day behavior. For example, when your head throbs with pain, you say, "I have a headache." You don't say, "There's a lot of pain in my head." Similarly, when sadness fills your mind, you say, "I am sad." You don't say, "Sadness is present in my mind." You can habitually identify yourself with your body and mind even after discovering your true nature as Atma is utterly independent of them. This problem of habitual thinking is addressed by the practice of Vedantic contemplation, called Nididhyasana. To understand how Nididhyasana works, suppose you were to contemplate on the sunset by looking at the sun in the evening and imagining yourself to be standing on a huge rotating globe slowly tilting over backwards. This contemplation would make it obvious that the horizon is moving upwards towards the sun. Now, suppose you performed that sunset contemplation for 40 evenings in a row. Afterwards, the next time you saw the sunset, you wouldn't think for a moment that the sun was going down. You'd think the horizon is moving up. Repeated contemplation can completely remove the habitual wrong notion that the sun goes down. In the same way, habitual identification with your body and mind can be completely removed by the practice of Nididhyasana. By repeatedly appreciating in meditation that your true nature is pure consciousness, habitual wrong notions can eventually be removed. The next exercise can help you do that. It's easy to appreciate your true nature as pure consciousness when your mind is totally silent. When all thoughts, emotions, and sensations have faded from your mind, pure consciousness alone remains. To make your mind totally silent might seem like a daunting task, but fortunately, it's not too difficult to silence your mind for just a few moments. And a few moments is all that's needed. To recognize an old acquaintance, you don't have to stare at him for hours. A moment is enough. In the same way, to recognize your true nature as pure consciousness, a moment of silence in meditation is all it takes. In the next exercise, we'll practice mantra japa using the same mantra we've used before. Om Ishaya Namaha. Salutations to Isha, to God. Then, after you get firmly established in chanting the mantra, I'll introduce a gap of silence in between repetitions of the mantra. In that gap between mantras, your mind can remain perfectly silent for just a moment. And in that moment of silence, you can discover that pure consciousness alone remains. That pure consciousness is your true nature, utterly independent of your body and mind. For this exercise, it's best if you sit in a place that's suitable for meditation. You can listen to this exercise using a laptop computer, a tablet, or a mobile device like your phone. This exercise is also available as a podcast or download from our website, using the links in the video description below. I hope you are now seated comfortably in a suitable place. This exercise will take about 10 to 15 minutes. First, sit with a proper posture, as we discussed before. Close your eyes gently and take a deep breath to get settled down. Now, make a sankalpa to affirm your intention and commitment to meditate. Acknowledge the fact that you have many unfulfilled responsibilities and issues that need to be addressed. Since you don't want to be distracted by those things during this meditation, you can give yourself permission to set all those concerns aside, just for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Next, we'll perform the progressive relaxation exercise, like in previous lessons. Start by turning your attention to your feet. Become aware of sensations there. Notice the sense of pressure as your feet press down. Notice the touch of your clothing and feelings of warmth or coolness. Now, become aware of any tension that might be held in the muscles of your feet, and let go of that tension. Allow those muscles to relax completely. Next, turn your attention to your ankles and calves. Notice sensations of pressure, the touch of your clothing, warmth or coolness. Become aware of any tension held in the muscles of your ankles and calves, and let go of that tension completely. Next, turn to your knees and thighs. Notice the weight of your hands or arms where they rest. Notice any other sensations. Become aware of any tension held in your knees and thighs, and let go of that tension completely. Next, turn to the trunk of your body. Feel the weight of your body pressing down. Feel the firmness of the seat beneath you. Let go of any tension. Next, turn to your lower back and stomach together. Become aware of sensations. Let go of any tension. Now, turn to your upper back and chest. Become aware of sensations and let go of any tension. Now, your shoulders, arms, and hands. Become aware of sensations and let go of any tension. Finally, your neck, face, the muscles around your eyes, at your temples, and across your forehead. Let go of any tension. Now, we'll chant the mantra Om Ishaya Namaha, salutations to God. Chant silently as you listen to me. Concentrate your attention on the sound and meaning of the mantra. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 Continue to chant silently as you listen to me. Concentrate your attention on the sound and meaning of the mantra. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 For one more minute, continue to chant silently as you listen to me. Concentrate your attention on the sound and meaning of the mantra. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 Now we're ready to begin the contemplation. Continue to chant silently as you listen to me. I'll gradually introduce a gap of silence between mantras. In the moment of silence between mantras, observe that pure consciousness alone remains. The consciousness that's your true nature, utterly independent of your body and mind. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 Continue to chant silently as you listen to me. In the moment of silence between mantras, observe that pure consciousness alone remains. The consciousness that's your true nature, utterly independent of your body and mind. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 For one more minute before we conclude, continue to chant silently as you listen to me. In the moment of silence between mantras, observe that pure consciousness alone remains. The consciousness that's your true nature, utterly independent of your body and mind. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 Now, as we conclude this exercise, just listen to these closing remarks. You can practice this technique whenever you want, listening to this exercise again or without it. If you practice it independently, you can use any mantra you like. Recite it silently and gradually lengthen the gap between mantras. If your mind starts to wander, you can eliminate the gaps until your mind is again fixed on the mantra. In the next lesson, we'll discuss how you can meditate on Brahman, absolute reality.